I get a lot of comments on my posts, my videos, on people talking about hedging and how I hedge. They think I buy puts or I sell calls to pay for puts. That's not hedging. Hedging is not creating a collar where you cut off your upside to protect your downside. Hedging is where I can get upside but protect my downside. That's asymmetrical return. Somebody said to me recently when I was talking to another advisor, he said, well, you use derivatives to hedge your portfolio, so you're buying puts. I said, absolutely not. Buying a put is not realistic. It's too expensive. A put can cost 10-12% annually to use in a portfolio framework. You can't spend 12%. You could spend 1 or 2%, it makes sense, but not 10 or 12%. Puts are way too expensive. And this is why a lot of people think, well, I'll just sell calls and I'll buy puts. And that's where the collar is used, but it's overused, or the put spread collar, where they're putting on a put spread and then capping with a call. You could say that's kind of like a buffered strategy. That's okay. You're starting to move towards hedge where you do have some upside, but it's capped. I'm not particularly fond of selling calls, period. I think because of the reverse skew, you're not getting paid to sell away the upside. You're just taking away the risk premium, a different subject. But let's move on to the fact that can you hedge at no cost? Can you hedge at a positive cost? Can you hedge at no cost? And the answer is absolutely. Being in this business my whole life and studying options, teaching options at the universities, you can hedge and get paid to hedge. Absolutely. And let's go through just a couple of short examples. Number one is I can use a debt instrument. I can use the present value of the future cash flows of a bond and then take that present value of the future cash flows and buy a call. Now, if the call expires worthless, I get all my money back because the debt covered the price of the call. I could then sell an out of the money put that'll bring in more premium. That introduces downside tail risk, but it's still a hedge. I have a buffer zone, might be 10, 15, 20%, and then I could buy more calls to give me that upside that I desire. And that would definitely work. We've seen a lot of products come out on the marketplace that do this. The ETFs, Innovator, CBOVS. The problem I have with those products is the expense ratios are high. They're pulling all the value, and so they're giving you a fully protected defined outcome note with 7%, 5% upside over 12 months. I don't see value in that. I don't see investing in the market and capping at 5%. That's almost like those index annuities, which I'm not a fan of because that's what they do. They give you 5, 7%, and if the market goes down, you're zero. So year one, you make, market's up 30, you're up 5. Year two, the market's down, you're zero. So you make 2.5% when the market over 2 years is 30 and 0 is much better. So we want to create hedges that don't cap our upside and fully protect or somewhat protect the downside. So you can use debt. But how about if we're not using debt? I run several portfolios. One of my portfolios is a hedged equity portfolio. And what I want in that portfolio is convexity. Give you a good example, my portfolio today at this moment runs about an 80 beta. That's what I'm running. So I'll capture 80% of the S&P if it goes up. Would I capture 80% of the S&P if I go down? Well, this is where hedging comes in. With proper hedging, I own curvature, I own convexity, I own gamma. The problem with owning gamma is that a lot of people say you can't own gamma without paying carry costs, without paying theta. Not true. It's about understanding the volatility surface. It's understanding where in the volatility surface I can buy and sell options to create a positive carry hedge that will make money if the market goes down, make good money. But if the market goes up against me, it still pays me to a certain point, and then I have to restrike the hedge. So I'm getting positive theta, but I still have negative delta. I still have positive gamma, and I can control my vega depending on where is the vol of the market. Is the vol high? When the VIX is at 50, do you want to own vega? No, you want to be short vega. When the VIX is at 15, I want to own vega. And I could strike my hedge to give me positive or negative vega, depending on where I strike. Am I long, am I short? But I'll give you an example. My portfolio, if the market is down 2% tomorrow, my beta drops to 65. If the market is up 2%, my beta goes up to 125. So I own curvature, I own convexity, and that's what I want. And I am getting paid to own convexity. And that's exciting. That's what most people don't understand. I was at a conference, EQ Derivative Conference in Las Vegas at the Wynn, and all the people on stage were telling me, don't try to own convexity, don't try to own gamma because it's too expensive. You can do that. You can do that if you follow the principles and understand the deep knowledge of how the vol surface works, the price of options, and where I can place them to get positive carry, positive gamma, negative delta, and then decide if I want negative or positive vega. So look at my videos, look at my website. I think it'll help you understand some of the deeper knowledge, because quite frankly, as Dr. Taleb, Nassim Taleb, now he wrote a book called The Black Swan. And I love Dr. Taleb because he says if you don't hedge, you shouldn't invest. Absolutely, absolutely. The herd mentality says that diversification is the only way. And this is interesting because Wall Street has been selling diversification for 50 years. And here's what it's about. It's about, listen, the way you get safer is buy more of our stuff. Because see, banks create product, and then they have the advisors that sell product. And they say, hey, if you want more safety, just buy more stuff. Buy more of our products, buy more of our ETFs, buy more of our mutual funds, buy more of our annuities, buy more of our private equity. Because if you do that, you'll just be safer and safer. That's poppycock. It didn't work in 22, it didn't do great in 2008, and it's not going to do great in the future. So diversification is not 100%. It's like driving down the road and thinking, I hope my brakes work because there's a traffic jam coming and I'm going 60 miles an hour. Really? You would never drive. So what does hedge do? Hedging defines your risk tomorrow, today. I could define my risk tomorrow for today, and that's what hedging is about. And that's why it's so important to know how to do it. Because really, diversification is, I hate to say it, it's a herd mentality. It's a group think. They've sold everybody, like years ago, the world was flat, right? And everybody believed the world was flat. The world turned out not to be flat. It was, if you thought the world was round, you're crazy. We'd fall off the ball on the other side. The bottom line is diversification is built to sell product. It's really built to keep the advisors just selling product and going out, putting people on a pie chart, forget it and set it, and going to play golf. If your advisor is a good golfer, fire him. Because he's not watching your money. Hedging is active. Hedging is all the time. Hedging is something my team and I are in the office. We customize every client to a specific hedge. It's a lot of work. It's a 40, 50-hour work week. But you know what? My clients, they pay me, and they look at me and they say, this is my life savings. Protect it and grow it. And I sleep at night knowing if I'm hedged, I don't have to worry about what the market does. The old days when I didn't know how to hedge, I'm thinking, oh, I hope my diversified model works. So these are basic, simple concepts of low cost and no cost hedging. It can be done. It's understanding the volatility surface, understanding the tenor, understanding where you could put your long and short positions to pay for that long put position in a hedge. So stay tuned as we continue to deliver more talks on how to low cost hedge. Thank you.